Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, hey, Ufi, yeah, obviously you've been denied the chance to have a home playoff. So what's the motivation heading into the final game against Melbourne City?
For us, it's about getting some minutes into some legs for some of the players. I think it's also an opportunity to see what players can do leading into our finals game. Look, it's a game where we can still finish fifth, depending on the result tonight. For us, I think the Melbourne City game is going to be a game where all the pressure is on them and not on us. So I think it's a great opportunity for boys to go out there and express themselves.
Is there like motivation from the fact that you can deny the opposition a chance to win a title? Like, is that something that you would relish, that opportunity to deny a team that?
Well, look, yes and no. At the end of the day, for us, again, my focus is on trying to get the best out of our players and try to get some minutes in legs leading into the final series, which is more important for us. And also rest up players that need the rest from the amount of games that we played.
Yeah. Do you think too, like depending on the result of the Western United game tonight, like either you might know exactly who you're going to be playing, or there's still a chance to potentially pick who you play if you're able to get a win. Does that change the motivation too? Like, do you have a preference? You might not publicly say who you want to play, but do you have a preference of who you'd want to meet in a player?
No, not really. No preference on who we want to play. As it stands now, if it stays the way it is, obviously our opponent will be Western United. So look, at the end of the day, look, whatever happens tonight with the results and whoever we end up playing, we'll plan and prepare for the opposition we're going to play. So, look, there's no easy game in the final series. The first one is a one-off. We'll be away from home. We've done that for 2 seasons, so that's no issue. And just plan and prepare to try to win that game.
Yeah, and of the players that were injured and missed the Western Sydney game, have any of those guys either going to be training today and likely to play tomorrow?
Clay probably is the only one that may be available to get some minutes in the legs, which is very promising for us leading to the final series at this stage. Joshy was on feet. When I say Joshy, Sotirio, so he was on feet, which is a promising sign for us as well. And he'll do some more work today and tick a few more boxes, and then hopefully we can get him ready for the finals game.
Yeah, I guess getting Clayton Lewis back for a playoff is a bit of a game changer for you guys. He's such a key player, and I know you've spoken about him and Rufus injuries being one of the hardest things you've had to deal with this season. When did he kind of start training with the group again?
Last week he was involved with our last session before our Western Sydney game, which is a very light session. So it was a session that we could include him in, where there was no chance of him getting kicked or actually going into a challenge, which was good for us. So he's a part of that, and he was involved with the session fully yesterday with us, which was good. So yeah, look, again, we still need to make sure we manage him. We don't want to throw him in the deep end straight away, but it'll be good to see if he can get on the field and get some minutes in his legs.
Would he be ready to start, or are you thinking he's more kind of a bench option?
I'll possibly just probably use him as a bench option.
Yeah, okay. Because
it's been a while that he hasn't played, so.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, because how much of a boost do you feel that is heading into a playoff game to get a guy like him back?
A massive boost for the group. I think a massive boost for himself as well to be able to come back and be part of the group and playing very important games.
Yeah, because did you notice with him too that he was pretty keen to target a return? If he had made the playoffs, that he could get himself fit again to be involved in that.
I think all the injured boys are targeting a return for the playoffs. I feel about this stage. So, these are big games. These are games that players want to be involved in. And look, everyone's played their part this season. I think we've used everybody over here, whether that's been in the FA Cup or, in the league. So we've used everybody here to get where we got to. So, it's nice to have players coming back at such an important time of the season.
Yeah, I guess David Ball's like an obvious one to rest. What will be your thinking in terms of other guys that might need a break? Is it ones who have just played a lot of football, or are there other guys who are potentially managing knocks?
Well, we don't have a lot of players to mix and match at the moment as well. So we'll have to pick and choose the ones that we believe that need the rest and the ones that need game time. So, we'll still put out a good team there, go out there and try to get a result against Melbourne City and play some good football at the same time. So it's one that we'll manage and we'll think what's best for the team moving forward.
Yeah, because are there benefits playing a game like this, heading into a playoff where you're coming up against an opposition where for them it would be must win, there's a lot on the line. They've still got everything to play for. Yeah, do you think for your players it's good to get a hit out like that heading into a playoff?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see they'll be one of the oppositions that we may face if we get through in the finals. So it's a great opportunity to go out and play, and I think it's a great opportunity to go out there and play with a lot of freedom as well. At the end of the day, we've achieved what we wanted to achieve, which was making the top 6. But look, it's a great opportunity playing a good team.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's going to be a few Victory fans in the away zone. Yeah, happy to get their support. I think they're going to be cheering on you guys to beat City North.
Yeah, look, obviously, Victory getting the result that they got last night put them in a good position, and now possibly that they're hoping that we get a result against Melbourne City to keep them where they are.
Yeah, and I just want to ask too, obviously we saw Ange win the Scottish Premiership with Celtic. As an Australian coach, how awesome is that to see? And I guess that's someone you've worked with before, but as a coach that's kind of on your own coaching journey, who wants opportunities overseas, is that the kind of thing that could open doors for more Australian coaches, do you think?
Yeah, I believe so. Look, Ange is a fantastic coach. I think he's had success everywhere he's gone, even with the national team. So I think it's very important that the Aussie coaches based overseas do a good job and show that the Australian coaches can coach and are actually good at what they do. So even Muskie in Japan, we want them to do well. We want all the Australian coaches to do well, not just the coaches, all the players to do well, and the New Zealand players to do well. So that opens up more opportunities for these players and coaches to succeed overseas.
Yeah, and just a final one is Gary Hooper's had a few appearances off the bench now. Are you wanting to give him a start against Melbourne City, or is he still kind of working his way, up to that stage?
Yeah, Hoops is one that we slowly building up. Very cautious at the same time with Hoops. We want him available for the final series. So look, at the end of the day, we'll make a decision on what fits best for him because. For us, he's a very influential player. He's one of the senior players within the group, and he does score goals. So we need him in the final series. So we'll manage him the best we can.
Cool. Thanks for that, and all the best for the final game.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, Ufie, all things considered, you'd love Western United next weekend, wouldn't you?
Hey, look, previous games. Look, in the season are different. Finals football, Andrew, as you know, is a lot different. So as it stands at the moment, if things stay the same way, Western United will be our opponent. There's no easy games. Everyone will be up for those games and try to win those games. But look, we'll just take it as it comes, and whoever is our opponent, we'll try to do our best to prepare and get a result.
Is the right back merry-go-round going to continue on Monday? Oscar Van Hatten, perhaps?
Look, at this stage, we've had to adapt, and we've adapted quite well. I think the players that have taken on that role with Sotirio and even Wayno have done a decent job, a good job. So the way we play in a back 3 or back 5, however we want to call it, is those guys need to be attacking players and be able to go forward, and that's why we went down that path. So we'll see, Andrew, what we put out there tomorrow.
Does Clayton coming back sort of mean that you have the chance to go back to, I guess, your preferred or your original sort of way of playing?
I'd like to, honestly. I'd like to, because I like the way that we set up with the 2 10s and 2 9s. But we've played, I think, the last 6 games in a back 5. And I can see in yesterday's session that I've already changed the behaviours of players and adapting to a back 5. So, going into only having possibly one session and today a session, it's hard to change behaviours back again very, very, very quickly. So look, at this stage, we'll go with how we've been playing recently. And then we'll make a decision once we have players back of if we do need to change.
I just want to ask you a few big picture questions before you get into finals. What Piney talked the other day about peaks and troughs. What was the biggest trough for you this season? I mean, I can think of sort of two moments that were potentially the lowest.
What's that? What's our lowest moment, Andrew?
Oh, either after the Mariners and City games, or possibly when Clayton was lying on the sideline and looked like he would be, seriously injured.
Yeah, look, there's been a lot of ups and downs this season. That's what I think you have, or you get, when you have some younger players within the group. Consistency was always going to be the tough one about those boys being able to maintain the same intensity and the same quality game after game. Especially COVID and injuries obviously doesn't help. And the amount of games we played back to back has been tough as well in the group. But look, I can't control the injuries. I can't control COVID. What I can control is the players that we had available at that time to try to get the result. And it's been learning for me and learning for the players at the same time. As much as I am very stubborn and I have a belief in the way I want to play, we had to tweak it to change it to get the outcome that we needed. But look, there were games where, even that game we lost against Melbourne City 6-0 out of Cronulla, I thought the first half we actually played some good football. We come in at halftime 1-0 down. So I thought we had a chance to get back in it. So there were games where we gave away where we shouldn't have, but they're all learning moments for myself and the players.
Yeah. I don't know if you'd agree, but I would sort of suggest, the time where it's been the nicest for you you have to go right back to before COVID, the start of 2020. You're on a roll, you're going great. Do you ever wonder sort of what if? Do you ever daydream about, what might have happened over the past 3 years if, COVID and all that hadn't happened?
Yeah, we always look back. You always look back to take the learnings. Look, at the end of the day, I don't know what could have happened, Andrew. We finished off that game against Melbourne Victory 3-0 at home. Then COVID hit and then stopped a lot of things. I think we were in a good place. We're in a good role. And maybe after that season, we could have, either we could have come close or not. I don't know. But even after that, with COVID hitting, and then obviously, players making decisions whether they were going to stay or they were going to go, we weren't able to. For me, the biggest investment, and I've said this before, the biggest investment is retaining your best players. And we weren't able to do that again for the season after because of COVID. And even this season was even worse. We've not been able to sign players with the border restrictions. So it made it a lot more challenging, more difficult. Look, at the end of the day, you take it and you learn from it. And look, I can't control what's happened in the past, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Andrew. Yes or no, I don't know. Would it have been good? Maybe. Would it have been bad? Not sure.
In terms of, I guess, I don't know if I want to say salvaging this season, Finn Sermon's obviously played a big role. He's allowed you to play free at the back and sort of change up, and that's helped you set up to get a few key results in the last few weeks. Obviously you didn't pick him at the start of the season as a player to go over. I know there were sort of left back considerations and things like that, but was there a moment when you sort of realized, no, he can actually do this and he can do what we need him to do to play the way we need to play?
I've always liked Finn. I always liked him when he played for the academy. I think he's got good potential and good attributes. For us, it was one of those ones where we had to make a decision on certain positions to bring into the squad whilst we were traveling overseas to Australia. At the end of the day, we had players in those areas that, for us, it was more about keeping those boys back there and getting game time rather than coming over here and just training with us. So I think game time is important. That's where most of the learning happens for young players. And look, I think it's been a wild ride for Finn. He's come in, he's done a job for us. He's done a good job for us. So I think playing a back three has possibly helped him as well in that sense, with an extra player to give him that cover and an experienced player around him. So look, they're still learning. They're not a finished product. They're not an end product. But with more opportunities, I think they will be a lot better.
Just two more for me. One, just in terms of this season off the field in Sydney, is there any sort of moment or maybe something that happens regularly that sort of stands out to you that has sort of revealed the character of this team at all?
Well, I think if you look at the games where we played that we've been, we've lost very heavily. You know, I think we lost, was it 6-0 and then 5-0, and then we've gone to play Western United, and the boys have stood up and you know, and we won that game 4-1. So look, for us, the resilience has always been there. The character has always been there. It's how can we apply that to the game and get the best outcome. And we've had moments where we've sat down and had a chat with the group as well of what our expectation is and why are we here and what's our purpose at the end of the day. So, you know, there's times where for us, there's been some, like I said, there's been some highs and there's been a lot of lows, but for me, again, it's just keeping the boys focused on the task at hand. So they're a good bunch of boys, sometimes too nice. We've got to teach them to be a little bit more feisty, I think. But you see the group; they're very passionate, you know, and they fight for what they've got.
And we're talking about your purpose. You know, you've got obviously game on Monday, and then it's the finals. You know, even as much as everyone will sort of pat you on the back and give you plaudits for making the finals in the circumstances, you know, this doesn't come around every year, does it? You've got to try and seize the moment when it's in front of you.
No, these opportunities don't come around very often. So not every team gets to play finals football. There's another 6 teams that missed out on these opportunities. So we'll take it game by game, see who our opponent is, and prepare and try to win that game and go as far as we can. The group has shown that they can do it. So we just got to do it more consistently. And these games, like I said, these games are very important to players. That these opportunities may not come again.
Cool, thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ufuk. Much appreciated.
Have a good afternoon, gents.